Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. I'll start by singing the Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Today actually we're going to read from the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you all want to pull up, it is 12, 13, chapter 13, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, text number 13. Yes, 1-3. It's the famous verse that is stressed by so many senior devotees of our movement. First of all, I would like to thank Mother Tulsi Saki for giving me this opportunity to speak. And I would also seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees, Srila Prabhupada and all the spiritual masters of our movement, so that I can speak something for my own purification and for the pleasure of all the devotees. Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Himasimha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Himasimha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Param Gatim. Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Himasimha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. Would anyone like to try? Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. Good job, Nayananvita. Austapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. Haribol. Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. We'll do word for word. Praustapadyam, in the month of Bhadra, Paurnamasyam, on the full moon day, Hemasimha, upon a golden throne, Samanvitam, seated, Dadati, gives as a gift, Ya, who, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sa, he, Yati, goes, Paramam, to the Supreme, Gatim, destination. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Please repeat. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Purport. One should place Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne because it is a king of all literatures. On the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, the sun, which is compared to this king of literatures, is present in the constellation Leo and looks as if raised upon a royal throne. According to astrology, the sun is said to be exalted in the sign of Leo. Thus, one may unreservedly worship Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme divine literature. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimati Radhanatha Swamiti Namne. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asyata Deshatarine. So this actually is a really beautiful chapter. It's the last chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it speaks about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is like so important, you know. Like recently in the Sadhu Sangha retreat that many devotees attended, you know, His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj was stressing the point that, you know, like we can only chant nicely if we read the Srimad Bhagavatam daily, which is so important, you know. Not only that, like all the senior devotees like His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, they say that only when you actually read the Srimad Bhagavatam sincerely daily, then only you will actually be empowered to distribute this great literature. In fact, having a Srimad Bhagavatam at home, it is said in Nectar of Devotion that all the demigods come to your house and they start worshipping the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the house becomes like spiritually surcharged. So, recently when I was preparing for this class, I heard one lecture, and His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, he was mentioning, how in India, like every few streets, there was Srimad Bhagavatam. He was speaking about the city where Prabhuji serves in Pune. Every street has like a Srimad Bhagavatam study group, and they invite like 20-25 families to come and be part of the group. So, distributing is one aspect, but making sure that we actually read the Srimad Bhagavatam is so crucial. And you all are already sincerely doing it. And even in our Radha Kalachini Dham, I know that several devotees, they have formed like these small study groups of Srimad Bhagavatam, like Nitai Karna Prabhu, Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, and few Matajis also, Gopi Vallavi Mataji, and all of them, they form this group and they study so it's very important to do that. And this is not like a new concept. Even in the previous days in South India, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he established something called as a Ramanuja Kutir. He established 5,000 of these. And the whole purpose of this is for everyone to congregate and read Srimad Bhagavatam and the other scriptures. So this is so important. And I heard that Radheshyam Prabhu in that same lecture, he was talking, because Srimad Bhagavatam has been distributed so widely, so many people are now open. They're opening up, like people who have never heard about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, they're appreciating our ISKCON movement, and Srila Prabhupada mentioned that these were his devotional ecstasies. Like he would wake up every day at 12 when everyone is fast asleep, and he would translate the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's amazing. And you all know in ISKCON Silicon Valley, kids, they go out and distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. They have like a kids Sankirtan group and they distribute it. So actually, this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, in this chapter actually, there are so many comparisons given about all the other different scriptures, like Shiva Purana, Matsya Purana, Kurma Purana. We can read in the summary and in the different texts. But like it was highlighted in the text, that this Srimad Bhagavatam is the king of all literatures. Actually, it is said like the Srimad Bhagavatam that we have in this universe, it has only 18,000 verses. But in other universes, there are Srimad Bhagavatam which have like hundreds of thousands of verses. Because like even one syllable of any one verse, if we can take and we can expand. This is so amazing. Actually, did you all know the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave a class on that for months together in Bangladesh once. Like, can you imagine? Like one verse, you can speak for months together. Isn't that amazing? Like how much depth Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur must have gone to actually elaborate. So it's amazing to hear that. Also, like why it is said that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the king of literatures is also explained in this the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. There are in this world, there are so many religions and there are so many scriptures. Like for example, in Christianity, there is this verse, love the Lord with all your heart and soul. So that is like just giving like a summary. But if you want to know like how do you want to love the Lord, you need to know more details. Like for example, the 9 process of devotional service that we have, chanting, hearing, deity worship, all those details are actually given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why that's one of the reasons why the Srimad Bhagavatam is the king of the literatures. And then, and it is said that, like the Srimad Bhagavatam it gives us like different case studies. Case studies are like we have like so many pastimes. Each of the pastime has like a lesson that we can learn. Can you all say some of the pastimes? Can one of you say one of your favorite pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the kids or anyone else? You're like the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj? Narasimha pastime? Yeah. Prahlad, actually, I was reading yesterday, like Prahlad Maharaj is one of the most celebrated devotees in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. When Lord Chaitanya, he came to, in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya, he was reading the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj again and again and again. So it is so amazing, all these pastimes. And these pastimes, they also, they teach us, so many other things. They teach us. Thank you, Chaitanya. For example, there is there are the 6 anarthas, lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and so on. So the pastime of like we have the Ajamil's pastime, in that we are learnt. No, Ajamil in his previous birth, what was he? Jaishnav. I'm not in the previous birth, in the current birth, sorry. He was a Brahmin, right? He learned so many nice things when he was growing up. But, he got association of that prostitute in the forest, and then he gave up all his good qualities, and he tried so much, actually, it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, to actually remember what he had done growing up and all that. But, lust just overcame him. So from this pastime we can learn, like it's for us, to learn that, we have to be very, very careful. We have to guard ourselves against these anarthas. And in that pastime of Ajamil is mentioned in the 6th canto, right? And then in canto 3, Lord Kapila Dev, he gives the formula, we have been conditioned by so many anarthas all throughout our life. But the only way that we can overcome this is, by constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. We are so fortunate. Here like yesterday, His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was saying, in his Sunday feast class, that we are so fortunate that we get to take darshan of the deities every day, do Harinam Sankirtan, we attend festivals like Rath Yatra. Can you imagine, like in some of the countries, this is so difficult to do, right, in this day and age. Like there is wars going on everywhere, and in some countries, there's not even freedom of religion so freely available. And Prabhuji was mentioning yesterday that if we take these wonderful things, wonderful privileges for granted, then they can just slip away from us. So, kids, are you all going to take nice darshan? So also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastime of, there are so many pastimes like about, anger. Like, Daksha and Lord Shiva is one famous pastime. Like once there was an assembly of sages and Lord Shiva was also there. And then Daksha came in and everyone stood up to greet him. But Lord Shiva did not. And Daksha became so angry. And then he started cursing Lord Shiva. And then the followers of Lord Shiva started cursing Daksha. And it's funny, it became like a competition of curses, one cursing the other. But what did Lord Shiva do? He just patiently, he didn't say anything. And of course, we know how Daksha had to get a goat's head. Imagine getting a goat's head. Isn't that funny? And he realized his mistake. And then he begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So what do we learn? Like, when there are provoking situations, we have to tolerate them. And Srila Prabhupada even says in his lectures that a quality of a great person is one who can provoke, one who can tolerate these provoking situations. And we know the famous pastime of Ambarish Maharaj. Who was chasing Ambarish Maharaj, kids? Durvasa Muni. And why was he chasing him? Oh, that's right. My bad. Thank you, Nadiyari, for correcting me. So Ambarish Maharaj, he became Durvasa Muni, he was offended by Ambarish Maharaj, so-called, because Ambarish Maharaj was doing this austerities for the benefit of his entire kingdom. And then, Durvasa Muni went to take his bath in the sacred river, and the fast time was approaching. And then, after consulting with all the Brahmanas, Ambarish Maharaj just took a few drops of water so that everyone can get the benefit of his fasting. And Durvasa Muni became very angry. And then he created that fiery demon. And that pastime happened. But through all of this, what did Ambarish Maharaj do? He was just tolerant and depending on the Lord's mercy. And then the Lord reciprocated. He sent his Sudarshan Chakra to protect Ambarish Maharaj. Now we learn from all these pastimes like how anger, is so, it can actually destroy our spiritual life, One of the other glorious things that we learn from the Srimad Bhagavatam is, like association of devotees. What happened to Bharat Maharaj after he went to the Himalayas? Can one of you tell me? He was taking care of whom? A deer, yes. And did he have any like sadhu sangha around him happening, or any devotees around him? No. So Bharat Maharaj in his next birth, he became a deer because although he was on such a high transcendental stage, he did not associate with devotees. And when in his subsequent birth, when he became Jada Bharat, he instructed King Rahugana that one should not make the mistake of not associating with devotees, And it is so nice, what Srila Prabhupada has given us, We have these 9 processes of devotional service. We can actually chant with devotees. We can do deity worship with devotees. We can cook with devotees. We can do Sankirtan with devotees, These are the different ways that we can associate with devotees. We can even take prasadam with devotees. That's the best part, right? And Yeah, I think it's 8:15. I would like to hear from you all, like, what do you all think about what are the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Mother Tulsi Saki would like to go first.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for giving nice class and talking about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and distributing it on Bhadra Purnima. I have a lot of questions. Is Bhadra Purnima coming up?
Yes, Mataji, it's on September 7th.
Okay.
But His Grace Vaisheshika Maharaj, they've already started getting things ready, because this year they want to distribute 100,000, 108 Srimad Bhagavatams worldwide. So all the temples all over the world, they've started working on getting the word out, and so many wonderful things happening.
And so, just hearing about Vaisheshika Prabhu's plans, how are some of the ways, if you can share? I know you and many other devotees are heading up these book distribution, events, and like that Earth Day event, etc. So coming, if we want to plan out, so can you share some of the plans where we can all plug in as with children and mothers for these events? What can we do as a group, as a team, to help with these book distribution efforts?
Yes, Mati. So thank you for that question. Actually, like there are these festivals that happen during spring and fall, where we can actually where we set up book tables and we can distribute these books. Definitely, if anyone is interested, we can share the next one. The most current need is actually we are trying to get a spot in Mesquite Farmers Market, where we'll have they don't allow religious books for some reason, but they allow other activities like henna and so on. So we are trying to have a henna booth. And in the past, what we have done is during henna, after someone gets a henna, they are open to receiving a gift. So many times people take a book like Chant and Be Happy, Science of Self-Realization. So if anyone would like to help, that is the most current need. It happens every weekend on Saturdays. So for 4 hours, it's 9 to 1. We are still trying to get the permissions and all that. So once that finalizes, we can announce. That is one thing. Regarding the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, what we are trying to do is we are trying to get as many sponsorships as we can, and then we can actually gift the Srimad Bhagavatams to someone whom we know. Or there are South American countries that are always in need of Srimad Bhagavatams. That's one way. So we can just ship directly to them, and then they can distribute to devotees and people who are favorable and they cannot afford. That's one project. And then there is, in India, there is called Gram Vidyadan, where in villages, because of this modern society, the Vedic culture is being forgotten. And, we can support those villages. There are so many villages in India. The entire village, they come together and they read the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's actually a project of His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj. That's one way that we can help. And even here, if you have a friend who's new to Krishna consciousness, whom you want to give a gift, who will say no? If they're favorable, they will gladly accept a Srimad Bhagavatam set. We can also try libraries. Some libraries are open. A lot of libraries have a lot of spiritual books, but we can still try. So these are some of the avenues. But for that, I think first step, what Vaisheshika Maharaj is doing is to get temples to actually submit their goals. Like for example, ISV is doing 3,500 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. They are pledging that much. And then I know Baltimore is doing 500 sets. Houston is doing 155 sets. That's the goal they're setting. So we here at Radha Kalajanji Dham, last year we did 125 sets. So this year we are still discussing, but so far everyone seems to be agreeing to 150 sets. So whoever would like to help in any way to spread the word or to even contribute financially, giving donations, so your efforts would be very, very much appreciated. Your help would be very much appreciated.
I thank you for all of this wonderful information. I'll pass it on to the others. I have just one last question. Just like we have these Google Docs for so many temple activities, for the Sankirtan events, if we have, maybe we already do have a calendar where, we can look ahead if we have availability, and then we can share with everyone, okay, these are the events that are happening, like the calendar, so we can even plan ahead.
Sure, Machi. Thank you. That's a really nice point. We don't have any calendar, but we can get something together. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nananita wants to say, but she's shy, so Mother Lalita Sundari would.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for nice class. Always good to remind ourselves of glories of Bhagavatam to inspire us to read more. Actually, this question is on behalf of Nainanvita. So she is asking question from in Bhagavad Gita. Actually, for the first shloka, when Prabhupada gives a purport, he says Bhagavad Gita is a perfect science, and it has all the scriptures which is not. Has all the information which is not in other scriptures. So that's the best. But today in the purport we read that Bhagavatam is king of literature. So she's asking which one is best, because in both places we see both are best.
Both are best. What I heard is, it's a very nice question. Like Bhagavad Gita, it gives us a philosophy, right? But in Bhagavatam, the same philosophy is there, but it's expanded as like stories. Like, do you like stories, Nainanvita? So easy to understand, right? So the same philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is expanded in nice story format. So it becomes easy for people like you and me to understand. Does that help? That help? Would anyone like to say anything?
I just want to say that I received my set of Srimad Bhagavatam through the generosity of a sponsor. So I want to say how much I appreciate that program. And I think it benefits a lot of people. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I also want to say thank you for giving class. It was a very nice class.
Thank you, Mother Tammy, for your appreciative words.
Hare Krishna. So, couple of points that comes to my mind about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first, I was thinking about this Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam, as covered in the Padma Puran. One of the stories, it has got 6 chapters. In one of the chapters, we are all familiar with the story, but this is just a reflection of that. The Gokarna story and his brother Dundakari, the Dundakari, who is a very, very sinful individual, and ultimately, when he died, he was going around as wandering as ghost, and in an effort to, help him get liberated, his brother Gokarna was checking around with all the highly knowledgeable seers and rishis and sages, so to speak, and they were not very sure as to what is the method by which that can be attained. At one point of time in that chapter, even Gokarna mentions that he has performed Gaya Shraddha for his brother, the Dundukari, the deceased person, and still he's hanging around because Gaya Shraddha is considered in our tradition as to be one of the highest, so that they obtain the moksha, the liberation, the deceased person. Even that was not helpful in this particular case because of the amount of sins he has committed while he was in his body. And ultimately, Gokarna comes to know about this procedure of the Saptaha, the Srimad Bhagavatam Shravana, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's what he kind of put together. And when all said and done, this Dundukari, who was in this ghost form, he listened to it, and he got liberated just by listening to Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, just like how Prahlad Maharaj did when Shukdev Goswami or Sukacharya explained all the great stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, from all the 12 cantos. So this is, what could not be attained even by performing Gaya Shraddha was easily attained for the purpose of Dundukari's liberation as such a sinful person like him, just by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, so that's one of the extreme. To me, it's a very, very important thing, and for all of us also. And then the other thing is, normally we are very familiar with the Dasavatara, the Matsya, Kurma, etc., up to the Kalki Avatara. But Srimad Bhagavatam goes much deeper and brings out the 24 or 25 different avatars, which people who are not familiar, outside, I'm saying outside of the Krishna consciousness movement and others outside of that, who may not be familiar with there are so many avatars out there, so it could be okay, let me learn, so kind of a thing. It's a great point by which they will come to be aware, to know the glories of the Lord. It doesn't just stop with the Dasavatara, and it's much, 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 much more. And here is a little bit more bigger sample, so to speak. That's Srimad Bhagavatam opens it up and shows it. So these 2 points come to my mind for now. So Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one last point request is maybe on a monthly basis if you can give the Bhagavatam class so that we can stay on top of the Sankirtan spirit and like keep us all inspired and aligned with the the latest and the scores and the events and everything that's happening. So
sure,
then
I will try.
Jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for kindly listening to what I had said. Hare Krishna.